Hello there, welcome to Friday's Granada Reports.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Here's what's coming up on the programme tonight.
Just down here inspecting a site to support the military to clear out some submunitions.
The man who gave his life to make Ukraine safer. Tributes to the bomb disposal expert from the Isle of Man who died in an explosion earlier this week.
He loved those people and he could talk to anyone. He really was a real gent. He had a way with everybody. I think Chris really will be remembered as a Ukrainian hero.
2 generations living with cancer at the same time. Now mother and daughter Suzanne and Vicky are getting ready to sound the starting pistol at Chester's Race for Life.
Almost boom time for business on the Isle of Man. Preparations are underway for the arrival of the TT.
Class dismissed, just Neville and Beckham remain as part of the new look leadership at Salford City.
A very public art gallery, the new project that's brought a pop of colour to a flyover in Runcorn.
And it was a fine and dry day with plenty of sunshine, but will that sunshine stay with us through the weekend? I'll have all of the details later in the programme.
Please stay with us. First, though, to the man who gave his life trying to make Ukraine safer, as thousands of pounds are raised in his memory. Today, a friend described him as a Ukrainian hero.
Yeah, Chris Garrett from the Isle of Man died earlier this week in an explosion. He'd been working to dismantle explosive devices in Ukraine since the beginning of the war.
He caught the glare of the Russian authorities, who sentenced him to 14 years for his work on the front lines earlier this year.
Well, today a former colleague told us that the outpouring of love for Chris is a testament to his character. Emma Sweeney has tonight's top story.
With the Russians intent on destroying Ukraine, one man dedicated years trying to save it. Using his skills as a bomb disposal expert, Chris Garrett from the Isle of Man cleared countless artillery shells and live ammunition dumped by Vladimir Putin's retreating troops. Heroic actions that ultimately cost him his life.
It must have been a considerable explosion because it had taken the life of another person and injured another one too. So, yeah, it's dangerous work.
Just down here inspecting a site to support the military to clear out some submunitions from a depot blast.
Dangerous, but as far as Chris was concerned, necessary work. Just last month, he told me the task ahead in this war-torn country was mammoth.
There's been some wild claims that we're going to get the bulk of it done in the first 10 to 15 years. And yes, potentially large areas will get cleared in those times, but it's the rest of it that's going to take the time. You know, we're still clearing Cambodia, we're still clearing places like Laos, Vietnam, and that happened a very long time ago. So, yeah, I think it's going to be at least 100 years.
And many of those who knew of Chris's work tell me he was held in high regard. Up until 2 years ago, Jonathan Baynard volunteered alongside the Isle of Man native.
He was always up early, he was always first in the car, he was always waiting there. I mean, this guy was really committed, and that sense of commitment, I think I didn't see with many of the other volunteers that I'd met out there, even the ones that had led organisations. So he was a league above many other ones, you know, he really was.
The 40-year-old now leaves behind his partner and charity co-founder alongside their young daughter. A fundraiser has been set up to cover his funeral and repatriation costs. In just a few days, it has already raised thousands of pounds. For his former co-volunteer, the outpouring of love isn't surprising.
He loved those people and he could talk to anyone. He really was a real gent. He had a way with everybody. I think Chris really will be remembered as a Ukrainian hero. As somebody from Isle of Man who came there, met thousands of volunteers, thousands of people, and really he touched everybody, you know, so he'll be remembered as a hero, 100%.
And as loved ones try to come to terms with the loss of their hero, colleagues have vowed to soldier on. Emma Sweeney, ITV News.
And all our thoughts are with Chris's family and friends tonight. Well, next to the mother and daughter from Chester, who were both diagnosed with cancer just a year apart.
Yeah, Victoria Green has been through chemotherapy, surgery and radiotherapy after doctors found she had breast cancer back in 2023.
But just a year later, her mum, Suzanne, began treatment for Hodgkin lymphoma.
This weekend, the pair will be guests of honour as Cancer Research UK's Race for Life at Chester Racecourse, where they'll sound the starting horn for a race which hopes to raise thousands. Tim Scott has been to meet them.
It's been running quite literally for more than 30 years, and Cancer Research UK's Race for Life events have raised nearly £1 billion for the charity in that time.
Every pound raised at Cancer Research UK's Race for Life will go towards our research into all 200 types of cancer, with the aim that by 2034, 3 in 4 of us will survive our cancer diagnosis for 10 years or more.
In Chester, mum and daughter teams Suzanne and Victoria Green will be sounding the horns to get the city's Race for Life underway. It comes after Vicky was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 years ago.
I was 30 at the time. It wasn't even on my radar, anything like that. So yeah, when I was diagnosed, I just cried and cried. I was so upset.
It's been quite a strain on the family, seeing her so poorly. It's really upsetting.
Vicky's cancer was particularly aggressive, and so was her treatment. She needed a mastectomy and lost her hair. But then, as she was given the all clear, there was more bad news.
I got Hodgkin lymphoma, so that was such a shock. Yeah. And after what all the family had been through, it was to tell them was my worst fear. I just didn't want to tell them.
So Vicky, you'd just been through this terrible 12 months of treatment, and then you found out that your mum was ill. What was that like for you and the rest of the family?
When she told me, I was so upset. I started crying again. I think we were all, again, in tears.
Not again.
And exactly a year from when I was having my diagnosis as well. It was just the worst luck.
Fortunately, though, Suzanne is now cancer-free, and after the pair start the Race for Life, they'll walk the course, as Suzanne isn't quite yet up to full fitness.
Race for Life, it's a great event, isn't it? It's so much fun. We've got everyone in the pink t-shirts just doing it for their own reasons, and it's just a great day out, isn't it?
Cancer Research UK's Race for Life in Chester is this Sunday at the city's racecourse. There's still places available, and you'll be able to say hi to Victoria and Suzanne. Tim Scott, ITV News.
We wish them the best of luck. Moving on tonight, Merseyside police have arrested the 200th person in connection with the disorder which broke out across Southport and Liverpool last summer. Today, officers have issued CCTV of 44 people who they believe could have information about what happened. Although many involved are from Merseyside, the force has also identified individuals in other areas, including Chester, Blackburn, Manchester and Wigan.
The Catholic Bishop of Salford has welcomed the appointment of the new Pope, Leo XIV, and says that he's already received many positive messages from people across Greater Manchester. Pope Leo was announced to crowds of thousands yesterday at the Vatican and becomes the first pontiff from the United States. The Right Reverend John Arnold thinks he's already made quite an impression.
I think everybody was just very taken by the simplicity of his presentation last night, and again in what he said to the cardinals this morning was very clear that we must work together. We've got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of challenges in our world. There are all sorts of difficulties, but with a unified voice we will defeat what is wrong and create a better world for everyone.
Well, on ITVX, we have an interview with award-winning comedian and DJ James Barr, who's bringing his powerful stand-up show to Manchester.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet story of dealing with domestic abuse in a gay relationship, and he's performing it at 53-2 Theatre this weekend. To watch the chat in full, head to ITVX on your computer or TV. Select News, choose Granada as your region, and you'll find it on our rail. Well, next tonight, to a week dedicated to remembrance and empowerment. Trans Plus History Week is being marked in the region against the backdrop of the Supreme Court's recent ruling that the legal definition of a woman refers to biological sex.
Yeah, opinions are divided about the judgment, but it looks set to have major repercussions for sex-based rights.
Arlo West is the director of Trans Pride Manchester. I asked why the week is important to them.
So, Trans History Week was founded and is based on May the 6th, 1933, when the Nazis burned lots of books at a trans clinic, which is obviously terrible in itself, but that's why this week is so important, and it's surrounded by this date.
So it's a hugely important moment, but then also, I suppose this year is important for you as well. We are literally just a couple of weeks since the Supreme Court ruling. So does that change the focus of the event in any way?
I think there's more power with the event this year and the week itself because of everything that has been happening in the last month alone. And people are ready to be vocal and ready to basically fight for trans rights, not just trans people, but cis allies are hugely important this year more than ever.
Have you noticed a difference personally in your own life since that judgment?
I have. I've had an experience at a gym, so I wear T-shirts that have trans positive messages on. I had one that said protect trans youth on the back. People were seeing it and not going to the one and only treadmill that was next to me and walking away and doing a different exercise. That's my first-hand experience that I've had, and I've also felt more unsafe in spaces and had to email my gym and be like, hi, what's your trans inclusion policy? Networking spaces that I'm in, what are your policies? I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to go and just be myself.
Do you understand why there has been such a heated debate over the issue, though?
I understand why there is a heated debate. There shouldn't be one. And I think media, the government, and just it's just so volatile on the internet, especially, that things spread like wildfire, whether it's true or not true. And this debate around like the Supreme Court ruling isn't about trans people. It shouldn't be. It's not about trans women being a threat, because they're not.
It's really interesting. The theme of the week is reclaiming our past, empowering our future. So do you think that means that answers may lie in history then?
Our history has been tried to be erased, and I mean, it's clear in 1933, right? And so we are trying to reclaim our history, find what has been lost, but also plan and prepare for the future and say also in the present, we are here now. Trans people are not going anywhere. We have always existed. We are going to continue to exist, whether the government, rules, laws say that we shouldn't. We're still alive, we're still breathing.
Arlo West, thank you.
You are welcome.
Now we're just weeks away from the Isle of Man's busiest time of year.
Yeah, from the 26th of May, the island's roads will once again become a racetrack as they host the world-famous TT.
And it's not just the motorcycle enthusiasts who are excited. The festival is a big fortnight for local businesses, as Joshua Stokes reports.
But it is still the greatest challenge in motorsport. 150.92 miles flat out.
It was a year that saw records smashed.
They are on their feet for a legendary performance.
And more wins cashed.
It's a wheelie over the line for Todd as he takes the senior in 2024.
And now this year's Isle of Man TT lies just weeks away as organisers plot out a new year at the grandstand.
I think it's difficult for people to understand the scale of what we do for just 2 weeks of activity, but it is a very complex and large-scale undertaking, not least the facilities here, which is the biggest build we've ever built. It's 120,000 square metres of build. And so it's the tentacles of TT economically go far wider than just visitors and visitor spend.
But for local businesses, this is the time to capitalise. A short walk from Race HQ, this temporary campsite will house hundreds of TT fans during the fortnight, travelling from across the world.
40% of our guests are from North America now, and they see it on TV and they love it. It's well over 50 mil to the economy, and for that just to happen in 2 weeks is a major boost. And yes, we're fairly dependent on it. We certainly suffered during the COVID lost years.
In the south of the island, Chris Kelly is preparing his food truck for its biggest outing. He's been allocated a spot in the fan park, his second year at the grandstand after a successful start in 2024.
Myself and my wife Tash, we ran it kind of single-handedly. We did get a bit of help from family and friends, but it was an exhilarating experience. The TT is this business. We only do the TT with our catering truck. Other small events of the year, the money just isn't in them. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that solely rely on the TT.
And that's something the local riders know all too well.
The hospitality sector, for example, hotels. Yeah, I think the income and the footfall that it brings to the island is a massive thing for the Manx economy.
What do you think it is about the TT that brings people from all over the world?
There's just no race like it. That's like the long and short of it, really. The road closes, 10 minutes later you've got a 240 brake horsepower superbike coming past you at 190 mile an hour. You go on holiday somewhere, you got a TT t-shirt on. Everybody automatically knows that's the Isle of Man for what it is. It's the most unique and best road race there is in the world.
In just a few weeks' time, tens of thousands will travel to the Isle of Man to witness the TT. With businesses preparing for another bumper year, this small, quiet island will soon come to life with the sound of motorbikes, as one of the world's greatest sporting spectacles revs up for the return of racing. Joshua Stokes, ITV News in the Isle of Man.
Yeah, let's hope the weather stays like that for
Yeah,
him.
it looks gorgeous, isn't it, the Bow Bow? OK, well, from the racetrack to the pitch now, and United fans are Bilbao bound, Chris.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say, isn't it? Yeah, they know the drill by now, don't they? They'll have spent the night hammering travel websites to book their trip to northern Spain, where Manchester United will take on Tottenham in the final of this year's Europa League.
It's not the most important, even the title, to win a title as a coach, is that feeling. Is that feeling that we can do good things, the feeling to give something to our fans, especially in this kind of season. So I agree, it's not just playing Champions League next year, is that feeling that we can change things.
Well, that win will have brought a smile to the faces of United's class of '92 after a week of change for them. Their ownership of Salford City came to an end yesterday, with only David Beckham and Gary Neville joining American investors in the takeover. So what does that mean for the League Two club and their chances of playing at a higher level one day? David Chisnall has been to see Gary Neville to find out.
Prioritising making sure. There's new ownership at Salford City, but a familiar face remains at the helm. Former Manchester United defender Gary Neville has been co-owner at the League Two club since he and his class of '92 teammates Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt and Phil Neville took over in 2014. David Beckham joined them 5 years into the project, and while he and Gary remain in charge, the rest have now stepped aside after a shake-up at the top.
When you guys came in, it was all about the class of '92. You and Bex remain, but the others aren't there now. Why is that? Did they just feel that's run its course for them?
No, I think, look, you know full well when you put any money into a football club that it's a high risk. And, you know, lads are at different points in their lives. Lads, to be fair, have put significant money in over the last few years. They've contributed enormous amounts of time for no salary at times as well, and I think that they'll continue to maintain their position within the club and contribute. If they wanted to come back in the future, they could do. I mean, there's no problem with that. We've got other businesses that we invest in. We've got a university together, we've got a hotel together, which, you know, they continue to support and be shareholders in. But you just felt at this moment in time, just putting further money into Salford City wasn't the right thing for them, you know, in this next 4 years. Well, after the class of '92's initial takeover, numerous promotions followed as Salford climbed the footballing pyramid from non-league to League Two. But there they've stayed for the past 6 seasons, so a new consortium of businessmen have come in to try and kickstart more success. I don't want to sit here and feel arrogant because I know we've been in League Two for 5 years and it's bloody hard work. And it's a competitive league, and I've watched every single game of Salford's in League Two for the last 5 years apart from 2. And I love watching us every single week, and I marvel at the league. I love watching League Two as much as I do the Premier League, but I wouldn't mind watching a bit of League One in the next few years. I want to make sure that we have a balance in this next 4 years of investment into infrastructure, the stadium, the training ground, but also I want us to become sustainable. It doesn't sit well with me every single year when I see the losses that we accumulate, because I want us to get sustainable and grow our revenues and make sure we're also accessible to fans, and that's a fine balance we've got to try and get the answer to. But we've got some really good people who have sat in boardrooms all around the world, who've built businesses into the hundreds of millions and been so successful in what they do. They know how to do this as well. So Alex Ferguson opened Salford's redeveloped Peninsula Stadium in 2017, and as the club look to move on, they may now need to move out.
Could you see a time when you actually outgrow this stadium?
I hope so. What we'll make sure on is that ultimately we were transparent with fans. We sat down 4 years ago with them and said, no, we were having conversations with the council about potentially looking at the AJ Bell Stadium at that time. that's fallen away a little bit as we currently sit here. But, you know, I will not shy away from having conversations around growth of either this stadium or moving to another stadium that means that we can sort of increase our revenues and, you know, get a better facility for our fans and our team.
As a TV pundit and entrepreneur, Gary is a busy man. While the ownership of Salford has changed, he insists his commitment to the club has not. David Chisnell, ITV News, Salford.
Well, in today's other football news, Liverpool boss Arne Slot says he won't tell the fans how to treat Trent Alexander-Arnold this weekend. He'll make his first appearance since announcing his decision to leave the club when Liverpool take on Arsenal at Anfield on Sunday. Some fans are angry with the decision to leave his boyhood club, where he's played for the last 20 years.
I'm not here to tell the fans how they should react. I think we're all disappointed. I'm hoping that all the energy on Sunday goes to the players and as less as possible to Trent. Unless it's positive, then they can do whatever they want.
Well, now to this weekend's action, and Stockport County are just 3 matches away from a return to the Championship after 23 years. They're aiming for back-to-back promotions and more scenes like these from when they won the League 2 Championship last year. They're taking on Leyton Orient in the first leg of their League 1 playoff semi-final tomorrow, full of self-belief.
I suppose we can reflect on the highs of last season and a Championship campaign. We'd much rather it be that, but the reality of it is we're delighted to be where we are and one of 4 teams that can still become a Championship team, and look forward to the next couple of weeks ahead of us.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsor of the Granada Sport Report.
Finally to Rugby League, and one of our North West clubs will book their place at Wembley this weekend. Last year's Challenge Cup finalists, Warrington, are just 1 win away from a return to the capital. Standing in their way are Lee Leopards, the 2023 Cup winners who are keen to get their trophy back.
Oh, it'd mean the world. You know, the last time we experienced this a couple of years ago, it was incredible for the town, and you know, with not too many good times in the recent past, you know, it gave everyone something to cheer about around here, and it's been buzzing ever since.
Yeah, well, I enjoy it, yeah, that's for sure. Do you know, I've not actually played in a Challenge Cup final and won it yet. I've lost in a couple of them, so yeah, it's one I'd like to get my hands on. I'd love the opportunity again to take my girls down there and then, you know, let them see me win it.
Yeah, so we are guaranteed at least one North West club at Wembley. Hopefully, they're going to keep that trophy in the North West.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks so much, Chris.
Well, finally tonight to Runcorn, which is now home to an art gallery like none other.
Yeah, 2 internationally renowned artists have spent the last few weeks transforming the pillars of the town's Dukesfield flyover.
Yeah, the murals tell the story of both Runcorn and its residents, as Anna Joseph reports.
An artist at work, transforming the pillars of a flyover into an outdoor gallery and reconnecting Runcorn with its rich heritage.
This is Athelflaed, our very own warrior princess. In Saxon times, she was helping to secure the Mercian borders and founded our town down here on the riverfront. Many people are unaware of the history and that we did have such an important and strong woman here who founded our town, and we're delighted to be able to bring her story back to life for everybody to see.
The mural's one of 4 celebrating the town's history and culture.
Being able to step outside your house and find this in your own community is an absolute privilege. There are people that can come from anywhere and enjoy this art, and it's open to all of us because it's for all of us. These amazing artists have come and they've created these, but we get to keep them forever.
They're the work of 2 world-renowned street artists. Liam began his career in Brazil before moving to Liverpool and took his inspiration for this one from Runcorn's pub culture.
So on this wall I try to bring that classical British pub scene. So all pubs in Britain, you have this character, like a long white beer, very happy, like cheers. And yeah, I just wanted to bring this familiar scene of everyone here.
The project's been funded from the former government's Towns Fund. Those involved hope there'll be more murals to follow in the future. Anna Joseph, ITV News.
It's a great idea, isn't it?
I know, the skill that must go into that.
Yeah, the talent.
It's just incredible. It blows your mind.
I can't even draw a picture accurately on my piece of paper, never mind on something like that. Brilliant.
Oh, well, let's get the weather now. Here's Louise. It's looking gorgeous.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, good evening. Well, we had plenty of bright and sunny spells around today, and we will hold on to the sunshine right through into tomorrow. There is a risk of a few thundery downpours on Sunday as it starts to become warmer. But high pressure has been driving our weather this week, keeping things largely fine, dry and settled. We have a number of fronts coming our way over the weekend. One pushing in from the north and west through Sunday, and a low pressure system pushing up from the south, which could produce 1 or 2 thundery downpours, but it's all to keep an eye on over the next couple of days. This evening, a largely fine and dry end to the day. Few spells of late sunshine, any cloud will clear away, and under clear skies temperatures will fall away to lows of 3 or 4 degrees Celsius in the coldest spots, and we could see a patchy mist and fog forming, but elsewhere temperatures holding up around 10 or 11 degrees Celsius, so cool for some, milder for others. Tomorrow morning any mist and fog will quickly lift and clear away. Bright and sunny spells developing early on, staying with us right through into the afternoon. Wind staying on the light side, and it will start to feel noticeably warmer out there. Temperatures reaching highs of 22 degrees Celsius, slightly cooler across the Isle of Man, highs of 17, and we could see some patchy cloud developing through the latter part of the day. Looking ahead to Sunday, we have that weather front pushing in from the northwest, bringing some rain, but it will slowly track our way through Sunday evening into Monday. But it's the front pushing up from the south we need to keep an eye on. Could produce some thundery downpours at times, but it will feel quite warm on Sunday, highs of 23 degrees Celsius. But high pressure will return again Monday evening into Tuesday, with fine and dry weather coming our way. That is the very latest. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye for now.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Loving all that sunshine.
Very nice.
That's all from us this evening.
Have
Thanks
a lovely weekend. See you. Bye-bye.